Well, I appreciate you meeting with me because I think I'm just interested in having you reflect on as a senior what it was like, what you remember about the beginning, what you remember about why you started this journey, and do you remember back? Tell us the story of how you started and
I
when
kind
that
of
was.
I kind of remember. I remember getting like the newsletter for the like it was at like JV Stevens, and I don't exactly remember what it was, but my mom just asked me if I wanted to start playing violin. I just said yeah, sure. Um, and then
Had
it
you
was
heard a lot of violin before then, or had you been to a lot of concerts?
um I
We
don't think we'd been to that many with a viol with anything to do with a violin.
we used
Um,
to listen to a lot of classical music,
yeah.
when I was cooking dinner, and then we'd listen to it during dinner, and so we listened to a lot, I guess, but not we never been to any concerts before then.
No.
What do you remember about when you first started playing? Did it feel easy? Was it hard? Do you remember?
Um, I don't remember it being like terribly difficult. Um, of course, I didn't really like know how to judge myself when I was 7. Um, I mean, I don't remember like getting frustrated with anything when I was first learning. Um,
That's
I
good.
remember that the class was like pretty easygoing and it wasn't like super serious. You know.
That's great.
I
Yeah.
How
remember
old were you
because
again? You were fourth grade, third grade?
Like
sec
second.
that it was that stretch program. It was second grade, right? Yeah, second and third graders. He was a
Mhm.
second grader. Yeah, I remember all of the kids chomping at the bit because there were a few of the lessons at the beginning where they couldn't play on the violin. Remember with that?
It was, yeah, we
So
couldn't
me,
use
I
our
never let
bow.
them touch their bow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What do you remember? What was like your favorite song to play when you were really little? Like, do you remember like your proudest moment when you were really little?
Um, I think when I was really little, um, probably like Twinkle, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. But like early, like sort of early on, probably like the Bach minuets in book one. I really like to play those.
That is a big milestone. That is.
Yeah.
Do you remember, Jamie, an adjustment to like the practice routine? Do you remember what that was like, or any moments from that you remember in the beginning?
um, I mean, I remember. I just remember thinking at first, like, oh, every day.
Like, oh shoot, every day, what have I got my
Yeah. I
to?
mean, yeah, because when I was a kid, I'd taken piano lessons, but it was not, what was your mom saying? When's the last time you practiced? But then it wasn't hard because when we first started, it was just 15 minutes. And that's like their patience level at that age, really, anyway. And so it was just something we did at the end of the day. We normally practiced at the end of the day, like after dinner. Everything was like there was going to be no more rushing for the rest of the night. And so 15 minutes was fine and nice, actually. And like it was quiet time, really. And then over time, it got to be a little bit longer, like 30 minutes. And it was, I mean, we just did it. I think that one of the biggest things that got us into the groove of practicing was a few years ago well, it's been probably more than a few years ago now, but when the ISA did the 100 days practice challenge, when we had the sheet of paper with the,
Yeah,
and there were like stickers or check marks on all of it. So, but it really got us into a habit, of practicing every day. So it wasn't as daunting as I thought it was going to be.
that's good. Well, and you're a working parent, and and you were in public school. How was
Mhm.
that hard to do that, to really make that commitment, or was it just like we're just gonna do this? Like, how'd you make it work with all those other demands on your time?
Well, I mean, I started when I was pretty early, and I didn't really have too much other demands other than, the school and homework. So I had, time, and then as I went on, it sort of, violin became one of the like things that I would work other things around. Like I just had the time for it because there kind of always been the time for it.
That's
Like
great.
it was
Yeah,
sort of set in
one of the
stone.
priorities.
Yeah.
When did you know that you were like, I don't want to stop doing this. I want to keep doing this.
I don't know. I think like I don't know. I never really thought of quitting. Um, I think like I'm not like going to college for music, but I don't really still think of quitting no, because I've been doing it for so long. It's just I don't know. Like after 11 years, no, really, I feel like I shouldn't give up, kind of thing.
That's great. That's
Yeah, like it's like already so much time dumped into it. Um, I didn't mean to really put it that way, but like after 11 years, I don't know if I could quit.
it's almost part of your life. It's part of who you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That's great. What other things besides lessons and practicing and being part of the Suzuki Academy, what other outlets did you have for your music of things that you enjoyed that kept you going all those 11 years?
Um. Well, recently, orchestra. I do enjoy orchestra. Um. And I don't know. Uh. Outside of it.
Well, I mean, like Blue Lake.
Yeah.
Blue Lake
Okay.
was
Yeah.
the best.
Yeah.
We were so bummed. He wanted to go last year, and I was excited, but we couldn't, unfortunately. So, I mean, it's just a bummer. But
I
Yeah.
know. I do think when you came back from Blue Lake, you had like a new sense of inspiration from after the Institute and experiencing that.
Yeah. And sort of just, I think playing for other people too that don't like really get to see me play. Like the talent show at school. I had a lot of friends who really didn't know I played, or like they just didn't really think of me as playing. I don't know. Think of me
They
as
had
playing.
never heard you play, and then they heard you
Yeah.
play, and they're like, "Whoa!"
Yeah.
yeah, and he always really liked the feedback he got when he did the busking at Riley Days in different places.
Oh, that's right. Wait, tell that story. That's a great story.
I mean, I played my violin for money at a festival.
But how much money did you make? And really, it wasn't about the money. It was more about sharing your music. But so you put your case out at a festival, right? And then what
Yeah.
happened?
So I just put my case out and I started playing, and it was pretty cool to talk to all the people that like came up to you and like they'd ask you to play something, and then you'd have to tell them yes or no because I couldn't play it. And
You're like, if you're not asking for Bach Minuet, I don't know.
yeah, a lot of people ask for Devil Went Down to Georgia. It's like
That's great. I love it. Did you do that every year for a while, or was it just the one or two times?
I did it twice at Riley Days, and I did it like I think at a couple of other ones, but it's not. I don't do it very often.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun.
We have a community festival in my hometown, which is a tiny little town. It's only about 500 people, and it's every September. And he did a couple 3 years up there, and it was fun just because a lot of people knew us too. You know what I mean? Like, so people would come up and, oh, you're Jim's grandson, and
That's great.
talking about the music and violin and stuff. And so it's neat to get that. I thought it was neat, and I think he really. The first time he did it at Riley Days, I think it blew his mind a little bit that like people were just like simply amazed that he could play from memory. You know what I mean? Because they're all the Suzuki kids just can do it. I think it's amazing too, but you forget that when you're teaching or doing lessons all the time, like how that's not necessarily common, and a lot of people don't see that. So just need to see his face when people were like, "Whoa, can you play that from memory?" It was like Allegretto or something.
But it is spectacular, and especially so young. Talk about how you feel like that skill in particular helps you in other areas of your life.
Um, so like persistence, I think, is one that I think I've learned through violin, and it's helped me. Like and also confidence, just speaking in front of a lot of people. I think it helped me outside of that, outside. Um, and hmm, I think it also helped me with like time management and sort of just keeping like consistent routine of just practicing and what to practice as well. And also maybe self judgment too, or self assessment, I think.
And that's a really important one.
Yeah. Um, I think that one is probably the most used.
That's great. And what do you talk a little bit about what your plans are now that you're graduating high school this year? Tell us a little bit about what you're doing next year and what you're looking forward to.
So I will be going to Rose-Hulman for chemical engineering or chemistry next little.
Congratulations, that's
Yeah.
exciting.
And they have an orchestra there, and I plan to join it.
That's great.
Um, yeah, yeah, I look forward to joining the orchestra there because I think it's a little bit maybe more professional than I'm used to. And maybe after college, that's a while away, but I don't I don't really know. I mean, I'll still play, but I don't know if I'll just play privately or maybe I can find just a small local orchestra. Um, but I'm not too sure after college.
That's fantastic. That is great. Very exciting. Would you what advice would you have for like a younger student that's maybe like a book 2 or book 3 or maybe just beginning when you can like look back now that you're the wise 18 or 18 or 17, the wise 18-year-old. What would you
I,
say to a young student?
hmm, I would say don't get disappointed when you can't play something that you thought you could. Like I remember like a while ago, I tried playing like Brahms sonatas, and I listened to them, and I was like, oh, these don't sound super hard, but they're really difficult. They're, yeah, like, and I was kind of bummed out that I couldn't play them, but it, I mean, no one really cares that you can't play those, and you can still enjoy it, not playing like playing other things. Um, I don't know. I think just don't get down about you thinking you have a lack of skill when really you don't. You just need to spend a little bit more time.
Yeah, that's great. Well, and like you said, there's always some kind of music that you can enjoy playing. And
Yeah,
then you always have, but the thing with music is you always have something that you can aspire to,
yeah.
some new musical
You
endeavor
can
that you can
always,
aspire to.
yeah, you can always learn something new. Like it's kind of never ending. Like you can't know every piece, and every piece isn't also perfect. So you can. There's always something to work at.
That's great. And Jamie, do you have any thoughts for other Suzuki parents as you like reflect back? It's probably like hard to believe that you have a graduating senior because it really feels like yesterday that Aidan was in second grade. You're making me feel old. So, has it been interesting? And I think during the pandemic, we've had a little more time to reflect. Have you thought a little bit about the journey that you've had?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny actually. I was just thinking about this today, but this past year hasn't been what I thought or what Aiden thought it would be for him for his violin, and it's been a lot more solo or individual. And so much of music and so much of Suzuki is and was playing for others and being together and sharing music. And so I've really, I guess, really realized the importance of that and more so than I think I would have otherwise had we not been in a situation. But it's an unfortunate that a lot of the group things that we haven't been able to do. But um, so instead of being bummed out like, oh, it's Tuesday already, it's group class, we have to go to group class tonight. Like looking forward to it, being thankful that there's a group of kids that can go there and play together and hear each other. I think that's really important. And then I think that just, I don't know, it is really fast and just being, it goes by really quickly, but we'll have, hopefully, we will both have these memories from, you know, every day spending time together, doing something that was enriching but also enjoyable. And you're just not ever going to get that back. I mean, that's just, there, I don't know an equivalent because it wasn't like, oh, Aidan wants to play soccer and go drop him off at soccer practice and then go pick him up. This was together. And then it wasn't, and that's weird. I mean, the transition to when they're teenagers and they're doing it on their own. But at that point, you know, they need to learn how to do some of that stuff on their own. So it was also a cool experience seeing that. So
That is neat.
yeah.
Well, and I think the weekly schedule of lessons and classes and the parent being present, it forces, at least forces me as a parent to carve that time out for my child. Whereas if I didn't have that, like, I might not carve out that hour or 45 minutes. Like, sadly, I would let the other things of life fill that space. But it's so valuable to look back and think, yeah, I carve that time out every single week,
Yeah,
like,
I agree. And you would never intentionally not like you you're right, all the other stuff in life is so easy to get in the way of things that aren't set in stone, like he said, with practice every night. So it was one of the best unexpected things of music lessons from Suzuki that comes out of Suzuki, but not any other kind of music, lesson is that. So
that's fantastic. So here's a kind of an ending question, and you can kind of think about this more too, but I would love, I almost feel like since we've kind of, fully become Suzuki and kind of really had our program be really robust in these last few years, you're kind of the first graduating class that's kind of started with, a real traditional group class. And I would love to start kind of an alum program where there are certain places where like the graduated seniors will come back for the annual concert, or maybe they'll come back and have a summer play down. Or what ways, what would be appealing to you in terms of being involved every once in a while, like if you were home, like what would that look like? What would you enjoy doing, or what would you look forward to if we involve you in that way?
I think the coming to the spring concert that's the big one. I
yeah.
think it's
Yeah,
in
and Mark. Mhm.
yeah. Um, that that would be fun because everyone's there. So I mean, um, and also like this summer playdown that would be. I think I like that one, but I don't know. Like
You'd have to
the
it the annual concert would be fun. It would just be possibly difficult just depending on spring break schedules and things like that. You
Right.
know, but it'd be fun. I don't know. I'm trying to think of other like
Yeah, like the idea of you coming back and playing the Bach double with everybody every year is really cool. It's just a matter
yeah
of would it fit in all the college kids' schedules, and if you're scattered all across the world, like all across the nation at colleges, but it might be
yeah.
interesting to think about.
it might be even fun to do and maybe this could be a little bit less. I mean, just dropping in on group classes,
Oh,
not
when they're home.
not unplanned, but like, oh, tonight we'll have, a couple seniors for group class and they can just help. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And talk and mess around with the little kids and the big, whatever would work. But
that's a great idea. Very good. Any other last minute thoughts or things that came to mind as you were thinking about? Does it feel real that you're a senior? I feel bad you've had a strange last year. I feel bad for the seniors that have to have their senior year during a pandemic, and you're missing some things, but also maybe there's some special moments that have come because of pandemic that you might not have had. So
Yeah. I think there are definitely special moments. I mean, I can't recall any specifically, but it definitely has, I think, been different than what people are used to.
yeah,
Um, I don't know if it's been necessarily worse than other years. I mean, it's different, but um, I don't know. I guess I'm used to it now, so
that's true. It's become a little bit more normalized. Yeah. So
I can't really think of how it's different than it was last year now, because I guess it was like this last year as well.
that's true. We're coming up on the anniversary of it. I know.
One thing I think it's been nice, actually, weirdly, with the hybrid schedule that they've been in, is having him around more during his senior year. So I feel like we've had a lot more conversations about like college and what where you want to apply, what do you want to do, those kinds of things. And the senior year for me, it's come up upon us suddenly, I feel like, but it's not been this year is not necessarily itself been a blur.
Right.
Because we've just had more time here, all of us together. But so yeah,
That is really nice.
yeah,
More time to practice.
yeah, I know, right? I can hear practice every day. I'm like, I don't think that was an hour.
You're like, I was timing you from the other room. No, that's great. Well, it's been a joy. I hope that you will keep in touch with us over the years as you go through college. And is your brother still playing?
Yeah.
Cool.
I don't
Yeah.
think he likes the new
Yeah,
kind
that's
format.
great. He's
that
great.
is-
Yeah, that's
that is
fun.
cool.
Well, it's been an honor to be able to teach you and watch you grow I appreciate you participating in the advanced ensemble. I think it's been neat to see you and Margot, even though you're playing with younger students, you're just really serving as leaders and just kind of inspiring. This is the kind of music you can play as you grow into your high school years, and just to keep that excitement alive in the younger kids. So I appreciate you kind of serving in that way and playing in that ensemble, because I know it's a commitment. So
Yeah.
but thanks for talking with me, and thanks for being willing to share with some of the other parents. And I look forward to the March concert. Well, first of all, the recording for the advanced ensemble, that'll be a lot of fun. Miss Rachel found that great place, and then
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
really cool. That's
and
that's
then so that'll be neat to do the recording, and then at the annual concert and the solo recital. So we have a few more moments to celebrate you, and that'll be great.
cool. Well, yeah, thank you for doing this. And I'm sorry that it took me so long to get back to you. I don't even know.
No worries. No worries.